Founder of Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk. So, Charlie, how would you rank this week in the presidencies of Donald J. Trump?
It's one of the most remarkable and noteworthy. I've known President Trump for over a decade now, and there's been a lot of ups and downs. And if you look at how steady and poised and composed he was in that briefing room, what a contrast from Trump 1.0 when you had Jim Acosta constantly interrupting him and he was facing the Mueller investigation. As President Trump says, he went from being the hunted to the hunter. And think about all the things the media was wrong about in just the last week, let alone the last couple of years. They were wrong about Iran and Israel. They were wrong about nuclear weapons. They were wrong about Fordo. They were wrong about President Trump's leadership as commander-in-chief. And now they've been wrong about the economy and tariffs. They were wrong about President Trump's capacity to broker peace. And you look back, they've been wrong about the open border. They were wrong about President Trump not being able to win back the election. And instead of trusting the experts, I think in politics, we should just trust President Trump. His instincts here are phenomenal. Trump 2.0 is better than anybody could have imagined. And Jesse, it is so comforting to see a president that is able to take questions from the media. And did you notice in that briefing room, the media almost is, they're kind of warming up slightly to him in the sense where it's not as antagonistic. It's a little more conversational, a little more respectful, because even if you hate him, President Trump has commanded the respect from even his harshest critics.
You can definitely sense the respect is back. There's no doubt about that, Charlie. The Supreme Court, tell me what you think it does with the Trump agenda now.
Oh, what it does is it liberates the Trump agenda. First of all, President Trump, he employed a brilliant legal strategy, which was to go shock and awe right out of the gate with some of the most front-facing legal executive orders, such as birthright citizenship, declaring the Mexican cartels as terrorist organizations, so that any of these that might get enjoined, we can get that solved quickly. Instead of having to go through a multi-year process of where the entire administration is basically in paralysis, we can then get to work. We are now going to be able to finally see President Trump's agenda get supercharged. You accompany that with the big, beautiful bill. The best days are going to start happening immediately. And think about the profundity and the significance of what we saw in the Supreme Court. No more are we going to be able to see these widespread nationwide injunctions for something that should just happen in a singular district court. Remember, they did this with Abrego Garcia. They did this with birthright citizenship. They did this with the trans executive order, which stopped the medical mutilation of our children in hospitals across the country under gender-affirming care. And so what this does more than anything else is this allows us to fulfill the promise that voters gave President Trump back in November. Dare I say it? It allows democracy to reign free in this country.
So if Democrats don't have lawfare in their arsenal, what do they have, and how are they going to spend the next 3.5 years?
Great question. The last remnant of Democrat resistance will be the administrative state. So the first kind of vanguard was these lawsuits and the injunctions using Article 3. The last remaining one is the administrative state or the deep state. They're going to try leaks. And we saw that this week, Jesse. It's very important. They're going to try to leak on everything President Trump does. So President Trump has to be careful. Are they listening to your phone call? Are they recording you secretly? I don't want to try to introduce paranoia, but they are going to be very desperate after this decision from the Supreme Court. They're going to have defiance. They're going to walk off the job. And they're also going to do something more subtle. They're going to try to slow walk. The bureaucracy, they are masters at this. They try to run out the clock. Oh, sure, you want an executive order on this thing on the border. We'll get to it next decade. You see, the bureaucracy, they are experts at trying to delay and trying to slow down. President Trump, he is going at Trump time. He's going at high velocity and high speed. And so the last fight, the biggest fight of this entire presidency, which will determine whether or not we, the people, are in charge or whether or not an unelected shadow government in charge, is that against the fourth branch of government.
All right. Great analysis, Charlie Kirk. Turning Point USA, as always. Have a great weekend, Charlie.
You too. Thanks.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.